Go ahead.
What's going on, folks? This is Rye. I'm back with another episode. Rye's here behind the camera. We're here in the community, just asking people just different questions about how they feel, about how things are going right now in this current climate. I'm here with Anthony. He's a member of the community, so I'm just going to ask him a few questions and see what he says. First off the bat, one question I want to know: are you as you see us with our masks on right now? We're just following proper protocols and everything. But I want to know, Anthony, are you as fearful, if you were, about the coronavirus today as you were when we first locked down?
I would say, unfortunately, I'm not. However, the science and the data is showing that we are spiking very rapidly. I think it was yesterday that they had the single most reported cases in the United States. So I should certainly feel more fearful, and I think everyone should, very cautious. But unfortunately, I think that it's been a long time since we've heard about it, and it's been desensitized, unfortunately.
Yes. And what do you think that is about? Do you think it's because of the riots, because of looting and everything that was going on, or do you think people have just gotten tired of it because they basically told us to stay in the house, which a lot of people aren't accustomed to doing, and you couldn't really get on with your lives, and now people are ready to get on with their lives?
I think people are ready to get on with their lives. I do think that the rioting is certainly a different issue. The protesting is certainly a different issue than the coronavirus. I think that being locked down for so long did help with the amount of people that turned up for the protesting and, getting their voices heard. I think that there was a lot of frustration going on. But, I think people are just getting tired of it. It's been, we're on going to 4 months now of just this. And it's starting to wear on people. It certainly wear on me. I was looking forward to getting out of the house just as much as anyone else.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
So just to piggyback off the protests, do you think the protests are working? Do you think there anything positive coming from the protests, or do you think it's just wasted energy and it's one thing is getting us our mindset off of an important issue, which is the coronavirus, or do you think everything needs to be all-encompassing? Like we need to, as Americans, we need to take people. We just need to take everything in all together, or do you think they're counterproductive?
I think that there has certainly been a change made. I'm from South Jersey. I go to school here at LaSalle University. Not only have I seen changes in the university through emails and sort of what we should expect coming back to school in terms of how we are to treat one another and the changes that are going to come. I know my parents' work has shifted. My work has shifted where I work. There is change. There is certainly change. I do believe it's for the better. I do believe that these protests have had a lot of benefit, and I think that the outcome is very good. I think that a lot of the media portrays both sides of it in a very radical and nonsensical way. I have yet to meet a person who's had any hostility towards me. I to them. I think that we all want just a better, more fair community. I don't think that's unreasonable to ask. I don't think that it's unreasonable to also say that it hasn't been just and that we haven't had a perfect society and that we can all work better to being a much more developed and coming together community. So I'm all for it. I'm all for any sort of motion that we can treat each other with more decency.
Now I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't ask on what I had written down, so we can edit it if you don't feel comfortable saying it. With that in mind, how do you feel about the police brutality? Because I'm going to just be honest with you on my end. I do think it's bad. I don't think it's just skewed towards African Americans. But because as an African American male, I have myself been pulled over by the cops plenty of times for, I would say, for no reason, but it never ended bad. And there were times where I was pulled over and it should have ended bad. Not, shot, but I should have probably had my car taken away or something like that. And that's why honestly, I'm going to say it on camera, I can't say, that I have a problem with police with the way they treat me. I see the way they treat other people, and then I don't agree with it. Obviously, we also have the George Floyd situation. But, how do you feel about, police brutality and how it's being portrayed in the media?
Something that I then should get off my back. My dad is a retired policeman. Mm-hmm. In that perspective, I'm skewed. However, he is the most honest man I've ever met, and he is also the most progressive man I've ever met. In terms of police reform, he is all for it. Therefore, to from what I've seen in the House, I'm all for it. I do believe that being a policeman is an incredibly difficult position to be in right now. It seems like a zero-sum game. However, there is no denying that in America in the past we have had issues with police brutality based solely off race, and it is unacceptable. The movement to defund the police for a more community-oriented sort of option.
Are you for that?
I am for serious investment into the community. I am all for, investment that increases better education, treats anybody with sort of any mental health or drug addiction, and certainly to find people who may have had underdeveloped childhoods that can find work. I'm all for all of those things. I do believe that defunding the police, unfortunately, will have a negative reverse effect. Pay police officers less wages. People who shouldn't be in those positions will be hired. If anything, I think that we need to seriously look at who we hire as police officers, and they need to be the cream of the crop, because they do have the potential ability to take someone's liberty away. And people who have that potential need to not be able to abuse their power, and they need to be smart every day. They have to realize that the position that they're in was one that was used for a lot of corrupt purposes. Is there police brutality today? Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Are there good cops? Yes. Are there very bad police officers? Certainly. And it's now a game of how can we sort out the ones who know what truly power they hold versus ones that found themselves with a job and they make very bad mistakes, and it has terrible effects.
And I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm not 100%. The reason I'm not 100% for defunding the police is because I'm not 100% for any idea that just comes out of nowhere. Like, we don't have any statistics on this, I haven't seen any about how a neighborhood watch or whatever would do. I know as of right now, I'm away from home, but because I'm a man in the house, if anything happens in my home, I would want my wife to call the police. That's just 100%. So with the defunding the police, I understand they're allocating those funds somewhere else. I would just like them to find the funds from somewhere and still be able to keep good cops with good jobs. Because I'm not a cop and I have no intention of being a cop, but we need people who are going to protect us. There are bad cops, there are bad lawyers, there are bad people all together. So that's just how I feel about it. And I'm just going to ask you one more question, because I know you guys are getting food. We don't want to hold you up for too long. How powerful do you feel your vote is?
My vote?
Because this is an election year, so I just want to know. You didn't got to say who you vote for, who you're affiliated with, but how powerful do you think your vote really is?
Speaking in terms of solely New Jersey, my vote is probably not very powerful. In terms of the Electoral College, you need to vote. You absolutely need to vote. If you want any sort of change, you need to vote.
Point blank.
In that terms, yes, the vote is very powerful. For me, maybe not so much, but for someone else, it could be incredibly important.
Right.
That's where I stand.
So you're going to say it on camera because you don't want to diminish it whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
All right. You know what? This is Anthony once again. We really appreciate him coming to talk to us. He didn't have to. We kind of interrupted him getting food. So we're just going to let him go at this point in time. I'll give you a fist pound.
Yeah. There you go.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.